Tuning you in now to the LBX Show with your host, Brandon Wiley. Brought to you by the LBX Collective, your community to connect, engage, and inspire.
All right. Well, welcome everybody to the LBX Show for July 13th. We have a great show for you today. So first, we're going to kick things off with some news you should know with me, Brandon Wiley. And then we're going to roll right into Open and Shut with Kevin Williams. We're going to learn a little bit more about all the latest openings and closings and some of the trends there. And then we're going to visit Arcade Corner with Adam Pratt. We're going to learn a little bit more about Jaws, their pinball, their 50th anniversary edition of their pinball, as well as Buckfest and some more stuff that he's going to cover. And then we'll travel to New Jersey with Clint Novak on road trip. And finally, we're going to round out with a brief promo pro tips from Chuck DeMonte covering 4 tools that your FEC needs in its marketing playbook. All right. Well, that being said, let's dive into some news you should know. All right, we're back. So news you should know. First of all, we talked about this last week on the show, but this is a brand new program that the IAAPA Foundation has launched. And this has been something that the FEC committee or IAAPA has been working on for a number of years. And the current committee was finally able to get this thing across the line, along with some really major support from the staff, to launch the FEC Scholarship 2025 for IAAPA Expo. And just a little background on that. If you want to look it up, you can certainly just Google FEC Scholarship, IAAPA Foundation, and it's going to come up with the right page. But basically, applications are open right now. They're open until August 15th. So they opened on July 1st. So there's about a 45-day window. And this is basically a $2,500 scholarship that is covering everything from travel to and from IAAPA Expo. If there's some money left over, covers basically the whole admission to the IAAPA Expo, all of the education components, a bunch of the different edu tours that are going on, as well as like Fun Spot on Sunday night. And so all the FEC lunches as well. So really the whole FEC education program, as well as the access to the trade show, obviously, and great opportunities for mentoring. And so, it can cover hotel costs, it covers travel costs and all that kind of stuff, up to $2,500 for all of it in combined. And it's really available for anybody in all the IAAPA global regions. And it is a full-time or part-time student, aged between 18 and 35, that's majoring in hospitality, culinary, ride design, graphic design, basically anything in a similar field within the attractions industry. And then also employees that are currently working in the attractions industry, aged 18 to 35. And they have to have been employed for at least 1 to 3 years in all, your typical roles within an FEC or an attraction. So there's some requirements as well. I'm not going to go through those, that you can find out on the IAAPA website. And it's a pretty cool thing. Very excited for this scholarship. It's been something that we've been working on for a long time, something that I certainly was involved with when we first started talking about it. And it takes some time to get this stuff over the line. And so very happy that the current FEC committee was able to do this. So congrats to them. All right. Next, I want to talk about AMC. So AMC here is... They've launched a new program. It began July 8th, so just about earlier this week or last week, however you want to think about it. This is Sunday, so earlier last week, and they're basically offering 50% off movie tickets on Tuesdays and also Wednesdays. So this is they've already been doing $5 tickets on Tuesdays for Stubbs members. So you do have to be a Stubbs member. It is free to join the Stubbs Rewards program, but you do have to be a member. They have apparently 35 million members across, I think it's just across the US. I need to confirm that, but they do have 35 million members. And this replaces the Tuesday deal that used to be $5 tickets. This is now 50% off movie tickets. And they're also discounting their small popcorn and drink combo on those days, which is, if you're going to go check out a movie, that's probably, you don't need a whole lot of popcorn or whatever in the middle of the day. So anyway, I think this is interesting. The reason I bring this up is like, okay, why are you telling me this? I think 2 reasons. One, if you like movies, go see it on Tuesday or Wednesday. You're going to get 50% off your ticket. But 2, this is something that they are clearly seeing a need to do, right? So it was just Tuesdays, and Tuesdays is, according to their press release, one of the busiest days for movie going in general, because a lot of theater chains offer discounted tickets on Tuesdays. You guys know that your locations are typically lower on Tuesdays, sometimes Wednesdays, especially during the day, depending on what type of programs and things you have, and what type of FEC or LBE venue you are and who you're catering to. But they clearly see the need to expand as well this discount to Wednesdays, which means they're seeing also a decline in attendance on Wednesdays, and so they're doing this to drive up that attendance. And so, they're a large chain. They're the largest cinema chain in the world, and so they're a little bit of a bellwether or a canary in the coal mine, so to speak, to see how things are impacting. And granted, they're going to see movies, so it's a very different thing. It depends on the content that's being created, that's out there in Hollywood and others. But you gotta pay attention to this, and maybe something that you might consider doing to drive up that attendance on some of those lower days if you haven't already. So just wanted to cover AMC on that front, and here we go. All right, next I want to talk about Sacoa's new Sacoa cashless systems. They've launched a new product for venues which just want to install a cashless payment system without having to do a full system overhaul. So this is something that they've announced recently called KwikPay, and it's basically a compact contactless reader made specifically for standalone amusement machines like claw machines, kiddie rides, arcade cabinets, vending units, primarily, I could say mostly for either the really small locations or the route operated locations, but it connects via their MDB or Pulse. It can install in minutes and starts accepting contactless payments right away. So, the venue, if you're already using their Sacoa Spark reader, you can add a KwikPay, and it can work alongside it as an add-on. It gives customers more payment options, but basically, it's a little thing that displays a QR code. They scan the QR code on their phone. They can then make that purchase, and it automatically sends an update back to that machine and then activates the machine. So they're able to make the payment from their phone and gives them a bunch of payment options like Google Pay, Apple Pay, etc. So anyway, this is a new launch from Sacoa called KwikPay, and just thought it'd be worth mentioning to anyone who's out there listening that has a small operation or knows or is a route operator that could use this. Okay, next up, we've got Aloha Mini Golf. So these guys are recently partnered with a group called Main Street Chamber Holdings, and they've launched a national licensing partnership. And they are an island-themed mini golf brand. We'll take a look at their site here in just a moment. But ultimately, their whole goal with this is to allow entrepreneurs and small business owners across the country to take their concept, Aloha Mini Glow Golf, and create a turnkey model, right? So they're basically a turnkey license model. So they already have 2 locations open, and a third is on the way. And they are, I guess they've, according to the press release, they've earned a reputation for fun, affordability, and rapid growth. But through this licensing initiative, they really are trying to scale into markets nationwide. And it's going to provide exclusive regional rights, access to pre-developed branding and design packages, build-out assistance, operational support, and marketing resources. And the aim is to create a consistent guest experience across every location, complete with immersive island decor, blacklight effects, and family-friendly entertainment. So we'll take a quick look up here. I'll pull up their website. This is Aloha Mini Golf. And these are the 2 locations: North Shore Mall, and Mall of New Hampshire, both in New Hampshire. The North Shore Mall is in New Hampshire as well. It's in Massachusetts. And so, we can click here. There's not a whole lot of information on their stuff here for their franchise or licensing yet. Their website was created in 2017, so definitely needs to be updated, I think, if they are planning to. Okay. All right. So I just want to go to this website, this page. So, okay. Well, anyway, so now here is the Manchester, New Hampshire site. Look, there's some nice drawn graphics, and it looks like a pretty standard mini glow golf, facility. Some potted fake plants here throughout it, and whatever. It's fine. I'm sure it does great in some smaller markets. It's a really standard kind of mediocre glow golf area, and definitely does not seem ready for, I would say ready for any sort of franchising model yet at this point. I think, most times franchises, they really are, have things buttoned up with branding, repeatability, et cetera. This doesn't give me that sense this is the case. And, when I talk about, Aloha Mini Glow Golf, I have to also talk about Monster Mini Golf. And we've covered Monster Mini Golf on one of our Behind Our Doors podcasts as well, in pretty significant depth. You can find that on LinkedIn or any of the podcast platforms. But these guys really have their operations buttoned up. They are also a glow golf concept, but they are really over the top. They have custom stuff that they put in, custom muraling that they do in every location. They have a DJ booth in the middle, and so they have a DJ spinning during most of the times while you're there, and they call out little parties, and you have a crazy shot. So like they create an overarching guest experience. And, again, every location is locally inspired. And so it's a pretty cool place. I've been in them. They've just opened a location here in Tempe nearby the office where where the studio is. And so, I think one of the things I would just say here is, look, when you're looking to franchise different concepts, really weigh and look at other things, right? So I'm not saying that Aloha Mini Glow Golf is not a good option. They might be a great option if you're looking to franchise a Glow Golf concept. But just know that there are other options out there, and make sure that you really do your homework. And I would just say buyer beware, so to speak, when you're looking out at these different types of franchising options. Lots of franchising in the trampoline park and adventure park space as well. And they all have different reasons to go with one versus the other. And so just make sure that you're selecting something that is going to, that has proven model and that can be repeatable and can be differentiated in your particular area. So anyway, that being said, let's, I just realized I was trying to talk about the Monster Mini Glow Golf, and it hadn't switched. I'd switched on my end, and I was looking at it, and it looked pretty. And now here you go. So this is the Monster Mini Golf page. So, again, you can just see the level of differentiation already here between that and Aloha Mini Glow Golf. And so anyway, again, I won't say any more to that. You can check both of them out at monsterminigolf.com or alohaMiniGlowGolf.com and see if you're looking to put any sort of new facility in. This might be an option for you. All right. Next up, and last, I want to talk about Hippie Fish. So Hippie Fish is a brand new facility, and this is really interesting here. So I'm going to switch over to share this tab. I love these guys, their logo and their name and their brand. But ultimately what they are is it's a new outdoor FEC. It's in the Centennial Plaza Resort. So it's an add-on FEC to a resort in Gulfport, Mississippi. And they officially opened June 26th. They've been open a little while. I've had this one on deck to talk about for a little bit and just haven't had a chance to get to it. And, I really, really like their marketing site and the implementation that they've done as an add-on to the resort. It's nice and clean, and it's kind of fun and festive and light and airy. There's a number of different attractions. So they also added 2 18-hole mini golf courses, and we'll just scroll down here so you can see an overview of their site. But 2 mini golf courses, 18 holes, designed by Harris Mini Golf. And then they also have, the live oak trees and lighting and some really great stuff. But inside, there's also an arcade featuring 130 games, which is pretty massive, and it includes redemption, all, kind of classic redemption favorites, some virtual reality attractions and skill games. And then they also have a Hippie Fish restaurant, which is a wide range of different options, including seafood nachos, burgers, and flatbreads. So this is Hippie Fish. Look, it's a beautiful outdoor course. So Harris did a great job as usual, and I just really like marketing and what they're doing there. So that is again, that's Hippie Fish, and that is news you should know. Intercard is the only cashless system designed, developed, and manufactured all under one roof. They introduced cashless technology to the amusement industry and have been leading the way for over 30 years. Cashless systems from Intercard increase customer spending, guest satisfaction, and boost revenues by up to 30%. Intercard is so proud to be serving the amusement industry, and if you aren't already part of their global family of customers, they hope you will become one soon. All right, so next up we've got Open and Shut with Kevin Williams, so let's dive in.
Hey, welcome to another Open and Shut. I hope I find you all in good humor.
Yes, well, I'm enjoying my time out here in the mountains and overlooking a beautiful blue Lake Tahoe. So can't complain, but we got a lot to cover on today's Open and Shut. So let's dive in.
When do we never?
Yeah, exactly.
So jumping in, and as always, pause the video if you want to keep up, because we're going to motor through these. But again, another 24 over the last week of new openings. Jumping in, and the trend I think I would be picking from this one is a little bit of Cinetainment. We have some new Cinetainment venues opening, such as this example from Megaplex taking pride of place in Utah. Utah pops up a couple of times here, as well as in the next coverage. This is part of an 18-chain cinema operation that has been adding what I would call a Cinetainment or a gaming lounge or gaming room component. Much more than that, but they have bowling, 18 holes. They also have about 65 amusements, so mid-size. Also, they have the dining set out, and I think they also have a party room. But again, giving us an example of the cinema sector's hidden secret of Cinetainment. Moving on, and our friends at Battle Carts, not just one new announcement, though they've just opened their first facility in Mexico. Congratulations on that. They've also opened a new facility in Burgundy in France. They have quite a large presence in France and the Netherlands. Their EU presence is very strong. We're up to 53, 54 facilities. Fascinating glimpse here that this particular French franchise operation was a 3.5 million euro investment by the franchisees operator. So it gives you an idea of the kind of expenditure that you have to go through when you're deploying these 12 go-karts. Obviously, you have more than 12 go-karts. And as well as the F&B and the amusement component, if you want to extend it that full.
I think one of the issues I have with Chaos Carts is following the same path, is that they didn't learn, they haven't seemed to have learned from the early days of the trampoline park world, where all they looked for was a big warehouse, and even the indoor inflatables, like big warehouse. It's not in a main shopping center. Sometimes they're little seedy areas, and they're just looking for the big open space. And it's obviously lower cost on rent. And so these trampoline parks thought that they could come in, get really low cost rent, build this out, and if you build it, they'll come. And what they realized and learned very quickly is that you can't just build it and they'll come. You have to find the shopping centers that already have foot traffic coming to them, and then put in and pay a little bit more because you're paying retail space or you're paying some mixed use space, but you're going to pay a little bit more, but you're going to get that inevitable visibility and foot traffic. These guys seem to, on the whole, and I know there's exceptions, but for the majority of the locations, they're going in big warehouse industrial areas and really relying heavily on marketing and on their brand to get traffic. And I think that will really cause problems for them, in a year, 2 years down the line, if not sooner.
If not sooner. The problem is, as we know from actually having spoken to those individuals, I think it was at IAAPA Europe, we had a chat with them, and they gave us the numbers of how much a franchisee has to put down to get their hands on the package, and that sadly doesn't distinguish who you're getting. It just shows you that you've got someone in front of you that has found an empty piece of property that they can push one of these things into. That isn't the best attitude to approach a location-based entertainment facility, because if you don't have the catchment, and if you don't have the correct audience for that catchment, then you're a one-hit wonder. You're one and done. Everybody will come within the catchment that you've picked. And a lot of these facilities are in the boondocks. They're on the periphery, away from the main cities. So I do agree with you wholeheartedly that we're going to see a shake-up when they get to their magic number, which I'm led to believe is 80, before they make some decisions about the future for the operation. But anyway, it's something to stick a pin in and keep an eye on regarding this. Moving on, and the next Cinetainment operation. The Film Alley operation hadn't popped up on my radar before when we found out about this first opening. And they're part of a chain of 5. Not all of the film alleys are connected to a cinema part of their operation, but the majority of them now are Cinetainment offerings, again, Bowling, again, amusement, again, a reasonable scale of F&B, the snack brigade. Interesting that this one is going into a former Regal cinema facility that closed down in 2023. But again, it shows us that the cinema sector in certain areas is evaluating their options, and they're seeing an entertainment component as a safe bet to increase that dwell time, that all-important dwell time that they need to be mindful of.
Yeah, I do at least appreciate that Film Alley has done a better job aesthetically inside than the Megaplex that we were looking at previously. And also they have a slightly better website. One of my biggest issues with these Cinetainment locations is that they really overplay, because maybe they have to, I don't know, but when you first come to their website, it's all about the films and the bookings and everything else, and you struggle to find what else they actually have available. All of the attractions and entertainment components are shoved behind other sub-pages and not even on the homepage in many cases. At least this Film Alley, while the site isn't that great, they at least show all the different things that are available before they get to the now showing section down below on the homepage.
And that is a problem that we need to touch upon in a future sound off maybe, which is about the marketing. How do you, from the website and the social app point of view, how do you distinguish your entertainment offering without being snowed under by other things? Some of the restaurant entertainment facilities push the food more than they push the entertainment. Many of the Cinetainment facilities push the films more than their entertainment, which can be a danger because you don't get the drop in traffic and you don't get the TripAdvisor collections. Moving on, and our friends at Sega, I won my bet. They've announced their next pop-up is going to be California, Los Angeles to be exact. Though I think I hedged my bets saying either New York or California when we were talking about this. So maybe I did get lucky. The issue here is that it is a pop-up. So where the other Sega stores we've been looking at are kind of pseudo-permanent facilities, they're a little bit more structured. This is clearly very similar to what we have been seeing with our friends at Bandai Namco, with their cross stores being a light touch retail unit. And again, with the Los Angeles facility, we're not hearing any news about if this is going to have any interactive entertainment, but I get the feeling this is a watch this space. Moving on. And then we come to our friends at Pins, and they are on a roll at the moment. We have a brand new facility opening up in Ohio. Well, most of their facilities are dotted around Ohio. This will be their 12th site, I think, according to my database. 12,000 square. You know, it's got the 10 lanes of bowling, but again, it is duck pin bowling, smaller balls. It has amusement, it has pinball. And obviously their F&B, but this is the second announcement in as many months, or it feels like weeks sometimes, from this company, and it's clear that they're on a roll regarding deploying their particular brand of bowlertainment in the market.
Yeah, I think it was just 2 weeks ago, by the way, that this that we did talk about the most recent location. Besides,
it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look. They're clearly doing well enough to justify the continued expansion,
At the moment,
and at the moment. And so as long as the current attraction mix that they have, but again, we've talked about this before. Their energy and the vibe that they have inside is much more social, much more party based. And I mean parties like booked parties. I'm saying it's just party vibe right to it, and much more high energy than other similar companies that have done this type of attraction mix.
The fallout in the next couple of months, and I do feel it will be in the next couple of months, where we see a shake-up between the companies that are seeing continued or increased business site-by-site sales revenue and those that are seeing a decrease. When the MO, the modus operandi, is closely evaluated for these sites, it will be that atmosphere, that party, that high staffing quality, as long with a strong entertainment message that will be the defining factor. But when we get there, we'll point this out again. I didn't book it, but here's our gender moment. And if you need to know more, just pause the video.
I think we can skip them for 1 week.
I think we can.
Yeah.
Loft 18 appeared on my radar through research. It's an interesting one. If not all of them are interesting. 10,000 square in Louisiana, and all on its lonesome. It is a tract of land facility that has opened up a 2-level sports bar and sports simulation area. So that they have 6 golf simulation bays. One of those is dedicated as a VIP, but they're the kinds of bays where you can turn a key and they can be doing another sport. They can be doing hockey, or they can be doing soccer, or they can be doing American football. They're ball tracked. Very strong bar, lots of screens, way too many screens, and focused very heavily on the social engagement element. Brand new, but on their opening day, they had a really good turnout because in this particular locality, there aren't that many social entertainment venues other than the more traditional and tired bar sector. So this is an example for me of the appearance of an entertainment or hospitality entertainment concept that has a lot stronger legs in the unique locations rather than the type of concept that you parachute into a crowded market scene. So I would say that if you try to drop this into the crowded Houston or Dallas market, it would be lost without a trace, where being its own animal in this particular locality, it offers a very strong entertainment return revenue model.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And when you first shared these pictures with me earlier in the week, I think I made the joke that I think they missed one space on a wall where they could have put a TV. So there's definitely way too many TVs in the space because when you walk in, it gives a sense of a sports bar and not a golf sim location, and very much it's very much has the feeling of a sports bar. But I would say, given the F&B, though, I'm going to share my screen here. Slightly higher level in food, beverage, in at least in its presentation as well. It looks very nice. Definitely focused on making sure that they have high quality F&B, which I think again we've talked about. You have to do with these. Entertainment really is what this is. I think it seems to lean more towards the entertainment side. Even though they've named themselves Loft 18, they're trying to have the golf sims, but with only 6 golf sim bays and all that other seating and all those TVs, people are really there to watch. And by the way, when I went to their site, the first pop-up that came up was about a watch party for a UFC fight. So clearly they were trying to figure out their identity. But it seems like it is a sports bar first, but with really high quality F&B.
This appeared on my radar for various reasons. One of those reasons was the very high level of production value and the quality of both their marketing, promotion, and their website. And if you notice on their website, they say locations, even though they only have one facility. So I am expecting that Loft 18 is going to be the beginning of a rollout of chains if they haven't already started that process. Moving on, and our friends at Fun City Adventure Parks, 2 venues opened up. So this is the soft play, the active entertainment with an amusement component. The chain was only one facility. Now it is up to 2 facilities. So the first one is in Memphis, and the second one is in Cordova. It is clear that they have found abandoned department store venues that fits their 60,000 square requirements for their active entertainment component as well as the amusement level, and that you can still roll these kinds of venues out, though not focusing on the trampoline but focusing on the active entertainment. Tells us that the Tennessee market still has a lot of opportunity, a lot of fat in there. Moving on, and why do you need a building when you can have an open space? I've talked about this previously, the augmented reality what we don't like the phrase downloadable theme park, but the Dream Park concept is put on the head-mounted display, and within the environment you see the Mario-esque created environment. I think that picture there on the right is doing it a disservice or overselling it. I think we all wish that the graphics on these head-mounted displays was as good as that, but that said, it is still a very compelling experience, and this is the first of the full installations of this concept. A test installation was run at the 2-Bit Circus in LA that I talked about many sound-offs ago, and now, courtesy of the investment that they've raised and the focusing of their business model, our friends at Dream Parks are opening their first facility in Seattle. We wish them a lot of luck, and a lot of us are going to be watching this very closely to see how the market takes to augmented reality entertainment experiences.
Yeah, I think that's the nice way to put it. I do struggle with its viability, but again, we'll keep an eye on it. But I think if I were to make any prediction, it will struggle to gain significant traction. And I think that's one of the reasons why they have selected temporary space within Seattle and temporary space within LA, because they're not securing long-term leases, which I think is wise as they're experimenting. And I think if anything, maybe they're taking this as a way to get user feedback and get experimentation in different markets before they really decide to do some sort of mass rollout or permanent installation of some kind.
Totally agree. I feel that their first fledgling approaches were alpha. This is a beta test. The publicity is trying to get as many people to turn up, so I don't think they're caring about the payments, they're caring about the usage. And based upon the information that they'll gain over the next couple of months, that will drive what they really try and push out into the market. I would assume that we get to November, we'll be seeing a dedicated presentation of what the Dream Park concept is going to be.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say here is, look, whether I believe that this concept will ultimately be viable over the long term or not, it is at least something new. And it's somebody trying something and pushing the boundaries in location-based entertainment. And I greatly appreciate that, given the fact that most of what we just saw so far has been some of the same things that we've seen over the last 5, 10, 20 years, right? If we want to talk about trampoline parks and adventure parks, et cetera. So I do wish Dream Park success, and I do appreciate the measured test type approach that they seem to be taking at this point.
Especially with the funding that they've raised, that is the best approach, what we would advise. And I want to make it clear to everyone, we may be old curmudgeons, we may be cynics, we may point at the holes and the failures of the websites, but we're here to help, and we're here to grow the industry. And where others aren't shining a light on these investments and developments, we are. And we will chart the positive as well as the negative, because soft soap and mollycoddling is not going to help an industry grow. Innovation does, but the right kind of innovation. Moving on, and we come to the shuts and the sales and the curse of the Japanese amusement sector. The traditional old school amusement arcades going by the wayside, being superseded now by the new They're the new Japanese entertainment emporiums, which are following a much more mixed-use leisure entertainment approach. One of the traditional facilities, part of a chain of 3, has decided that it is closing down its operation, mixture of rent and audience. Luckily, the amusement pieces from this venue are going to be saved, going to an amusement museum in Tokyo, so they will get a second lease of life. But this kind of traditional cramped amusement cellar arcade business, Nikado is known by the hardcore video game fanboys, but really is not in a position now to match the revenue generation that we're seeing from the crane arcades, from the capsule venues, and from the mixed-use leisure, and the tides of change have hit them. Moving on again, another UK theme park or resort park with a long history has decided to move on. Corney Beach, they had about 100 years of operation in the market in Wales. The operation turned around on their social media and said that they would not be opening after they close in October, reopening again. And the local council has done a deal for the property around there. They're going to be opening about 1,100 new building 1,100 new houses in that locality. It is a bit of a tired theme park. It is an anachronism. It is a throwback to the traditional style. And so if you can't shape up, you ship off. And there are other uses for property, especially in this very crowded market at the moment.
Sometimes you just can't fight the real estate market.
Can't find Tammany Hall. That kind of rolls it up. If you're not receiving your stinger or your entertainment social arena, please make sure that you've subscribed. Also, please click a like if you're watching this on YouTube. I like to see that there are people actually watching this. And I know there are a lot of you that watch this via our YouTube feed. And, if you have any questions or any news, and again, I would like to thank those people that have passed on opening news to me on the social media. But if you have any information, please use my email or my social network links to get in contact with us. Anyway, I think that's all for today. Anyway, wishing you a good one.
If you run a location-based entertainment brand and want to attract more visitors, check out Radius. They use real-time location data and customized marketing strategies to help brands like yours stand out. Radius can boost your foot traffic and build a loyal customer base. Plus, they're offering a complimentary local market analysis to show you exactly how they can help you grow. Curious? Visit radius.co and ask about your free market analysis. That's RAYDIUS.co.
All right. Well, coming up next, we've got Arcade Corner with Adam Pratt. Let's just roll right into it.
Greetings, everyone. It's Adam for the Arcade Corner here at the LBX Collective. I hope everybody's been having a fantastic July so far, especially with Independence Day and all that. Arcade news tends to be uneven during the summertime, as most of the time all of your new products have already been released prior to the summer, like from the spring shows and whatnot. But occasionally there's a new thing that pops up here and there. I guess now that I think about it, probably could mention the new Predator pinball from Pinball Brothers. But as we have on the screen here, you've probably heard that it's the 50th anniversary for the classic film Jaws, which I heard somebody making a pretty valid argument, in my opinion, that this is the most influential movie of all time, mainly in regard to that how it affected behavior of people across the planet, where it made people afraid to go into the water everywhere. And even though I was born well after this movie came out, I remember kind of getting the same sort of notion about going into the ocean, even though I don't think I had seen the movie. It had oozed into our society and our culture in such a way that it really made you afraid to go into the water. And from that right there, it became the most influential. But anyways, its influence has extended into pinball. It's been available as a pinball machine for a while now. And Stern, to celebrate the 50th anniversary, which was this past week, I believe, where you also have a re-release of the film in theaters, probably remastered and all that. They have this new 50th anniversary premium edition game to enjoy. This is actually the first time I'm seeing this trailer. I probably should have looked it up beforehand to see what it is, because this looks the same to me, except for maybe one of the extra ramps there. So I'm not sure what else they've added to this. I also kind of assume that they might limit how many models of it exist out there. But that is available now. So if you're into Jaws, into pinball, looking for something that would work well for your home game room or for your business, then there you go. I actually have ordered a new pinball machine recently because I was looking to get a new air hockey table, as I really, really, really need one. And in the process of that, I've been talking to some other operators, and I've consistently heard that the new Dungeons and Dragons from Stern is outperforming pretty much anything else, and that it is bringing in some regulars. And hearing that sort of information from multiple operators from different parts of the country made me think, you know what, maybe I really should jump on this. And in talking with the distributor I'm working with, Primetime Amusements, they were able to offer me a really good deal on that and an air hockey table. And because of that, that's what I'm looking to get. But it's not in my possession yet, as it is. Stern's been focused on these Jaws and I think some other things, and so they won't be doing the Dungeons and Dragons until next month, so I have to wait. And the air hockey table's on a boat, so I'll also have to wait there. I don't know however many weeks, but before too long I'll have something there to share. Now, another thing that we have, and I'll have the sound down low on this one, didn't do it on Jaws just because with the way YouTube works, it probably ding that, but I don't think there's anything licensed here because it's just kind of a country style song, but who knows. But anyways, Play Mechanics and Raw Thrills have announced that their Big Buck Hunter Buck Fest, they've changed the name. It's always been Big Buck Hunter World Championship, but now it's the Buck Fest. They've released this video to promote it, which has that World Championship, but it's kind of like a Raw Thrills arcade extravaganza of a sort, as you saw there, because not only do they have the Big Buck Hunter Championship going on, they have all these other things too with other Raw Thrills games and such. Don't know if they'll be unveiling a brand new game around then or if they'll say that until IAAPA. Usually they haven't done anything like that so as to not distract from the main point of it, but I like this new name and logo that they're doing for that. That makes more sense. And so it also looks like a good time there. I've always been meaning to get over to the World Championships. Just would be fun. And I know a lot of the people there at Raw Thrills and Play Mechanics. And even though I'm not a good Big Buck player, not good enough to get into the World Championship, it would just be fun to go and hang out there. So yeah, that's coming in October 10th and 11th, so about a month before IAAPA. In my personal opinion, I think that IAAPA should be held in the middle of October as opposed to the week before Thanksgiving, just due to all the traveling and whatnot. And every time you go to IAAPA and you're talking about making a deal with somebody, it's like, oh, well, after Thanksgiving, then we'll get back to you. And then by the time everybody remembers anything after Thanksgiving, nobody remembers who they talked to and what deals they were promising to make most of the time. Going to get to the Sega Interactive Mini Golf in a second here, but Raccoon Rampage 2-player. This is a game from Eunice. It's a water gun game. Shoot it at the video screen and blast the creatures, whatever they are. They've had a 4-player out for a while, and from all accounts that I heard, it's done fairly well for Eunice. But now they've decided to do a 2-player version. So just got this in my email the other day, and so I was like, oh, cool. That's always nice to have options, especially options that are going to be more affordable than what they have there, because as we know, or if you're new to the industry, the general trend these days has been to release the most expensive version of a game first, and then from there go to eventually getting to a cheaper, more affordable version that would work in smaller venues with limited space or budgets. And sometimes they just don't do one at all, say if the more pricey version doesn't sell. Now, I don't really care for that, as I think we should just throw out all the options there as manufacturing allows and whatnot. And I would also assume that sometimes maybe a game doesn't sell because it's too expensive, and it would sell better if you offered that other edition there. But that's just me. And I also guess to that point, something that I almost forgot here, but in this ad here on this page that I have, Soda Slam, the official press release has gone out today for this game. And so it is available and shipping. I think I mentioned that in the past too. But this is from Alan 1. I've actually heard, aside from it testing really well and doing some really good numbers and seeing an ROI of approximately 6 to 9 months based on those numbers, that it's also, I don't know exactly where, but apparently it did test out in a venue that also had an icy. And apparently if you have both an icy from Baytech and a Soda Slam from Alan 1, they complement each other and they both earn better. So that's an interesting little quirk of how things work in this industry sometimes. But Icy's been shipping, I think, since April, and now Soda Slam's available from Allen once you can talk to your distributor there. But I'm going to switch screens here really quick, and we're going to talk about one other new product that just kind of showed up out of nowhere. And this would be from Sega Amusements. So they just posted kind of without any fanfare at all, and sometimes they do this. Oops, I guess I should approve cookies. Not yummy cookies like you would, internet cookies. But Interactive Mini Golf is now available from Sega Amusements International. Now, I believe this mentions here in the last paragraph, it has seamless integration in the 501 hub. If I'm recalling this correctly, but Sega can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's the same company that's developing this that's behind their augmented reality dart system that they've showed at various trade shows and has been available for a while. And so this could be something that complements that sort of setup, obviously for lounges and bars, not necessarily game room arcades and whatnot. But I think from the looks of this, it could fit into an FEC or the right kind of venue. And it's interesting in that it looks like it has these blocks or targets that you can hit with the ball to get a certain amount of points, and also has different games too. Okay, so each hole there, almost in a way, this makes me think of the Connect 4 hoops from Baytech, but just applied to mini golf. Also reminds me of an old... okay, maybe there's not blocks there. It's just LED lighting, my bad. But also reminds me of a game from, I want to say, 15 years ago called Putt Championship from Chicago Gaming Company. Maybe some of you out there had seen that one, where it was a putting video game. I sold those, or a couple of them too. Also looks like they're leaning a little bit into the zombie theming like they had with Zombies Ready Daddy Go that Sega has. And I guess in a sense, this is also kind of the same thing as that too. If you haven't seen Zombies Ready Daddy Go, it's the kind of the horse race style game, but with the redemption component or video component. But you're rolling the balls into the targets, but with your hands. And so this would be kind of doing that with the putter. I mean, it doesn't look to be using the characters, just kind of a generic zombie horror theme, but it still has that same sort of vibe that Zombies Ready Daddy Go has. Perhaps they should see about doing a crossover there. We have this where maybe it's a little bit like Breakout. Oh, and there you go. There's not a horse race, but a donkey race that you can do by putting into their the quickest, maybe. I don't know. Be interesting to see this one. I'm sure it'll be at IAAPA and such here before too long. But just take a quick look. So you have the putting green, massive LED dot matrix screen. Interesting. Oh, because from the photos, I just thought it might be like a TV, but it's perhaps going to be better to have the LED screen in case somebody decides to try and get a hole-in-one and launch it and it hits the screen. That might work better. And yeah, it definitely looks like it can handle multiple players at the same time. Obviously, it still need to be taking turns, but yeah, cool little thing for social gaming, so competitive socializing and such that I know Kevin talks about a lot. But yeah, that gets us up to speed on what's happening in the arcade industry this week. And oh yeah, it's 7-Eleven day, so perhaps if there's a 7-Eleven near you, go get a free Slurpee if they're doing that. But thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Well, thanks, Adam. And yeah, so he was talking about that 501 Games or 501 Funds new AR mini golf. And so, yeah, we actually go into a deeper dive in just a couple of days on the Sound Off with Kevin Williams on that product specifically from 501 Games. Just as an important point to note here, back in 2022, so just a few years ago, Sega Amusements International, as that's what, this is not Sega the company, the brand, like the IP brand. This is Sega Amusements International. I know it gets confusing. They're a distributor for products, etc. And they signed a distribution deal with 501 Fun. And 501 Fun makes the AR darts that Adam mentioned there. And then they've now released this new mini golf game. It is a bay. You cycle through the different players. And again, we go a little bit deeper dive, and we actually talk about some of their competitors as well in the space on Sound Off in just 2 days. So you can take a listen to that on Tuesday, the 15th, and learn a little bit more about that. All right, coming up next, we've got Road Trip with Clint Novak. He heads over to New Jersey.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Clint Novak here from ANA Global, and it's time for another road trip. This time, we are going to the Jersey Shore. We are going to New Jersey, checking all those boardwalk arcades. We're starting at Jenkinson Boardwalk. They have multiple arcades here. They have two different arcade locations, but they also have a ton of rides and attractions. So here's an RCI ropes course that's behind one of their arcades, a train going by. We went on a really crummy day, so the fog, you could just see the fog hanging out there. Couldn't even see the ocean from the boardwalk. That's how bad the fog was. One cool thing they have in their arcade, and I don't have a good picture of this, is they're on Simnox, and Simnox has a arcade redemption system where you can use your tap card, go up to the kiosk, tap it, and it'll show you all the items that you can purchase with your tickets, then prints off a ticket, goes right to the redemption counter, and they will fill your order for you. So if you're looking for a kiosk solution for redemption, Simnox has that for you. Our next stop was a Pavilion Arcade. This is a nice, clean, fun arcade with lots of prizes. They're on an intercard system, but they still use paper tickets. So if you're walking around there, you can collect all of your tickets, and then they have the intercard system to start up the gameplay. On day 2, we headed off the shore to iPlay America. This place is massive. I've known these guys for quite a while, did a lot of ride research when I was looking for my SBF spin coaster. I love the inside. It's like the Bellagio. They have this like indoor street area with the games spilling out onto the midway there. You can see the arcade. They also have a nice restaurant where the restaurant is open more than the FEC is. The restaurant is a standalone on its own. There's the spin coaster there, indoor spin coaster. We put this in. It did amazing at Funland. They also have some other SBF Visa rides and attractions. They've got go-karts there. Some more rides, a huge banquet area. They have 2 different banquet halls, both of them just massive. And also, I love this. They have a candy store. Anyone who's ever run a candy store knows there's a lot of waste involved. They don't have a lot of waste here because, yes, you can buy the half pound, fourth pound, whatever, but they also sell a pre-filled cup. So it's just a cup, and it's like $4, and you can go and fill it up with all of the candy that you want. Once the cup is full, that's it. That's all you get. Then you get to walk around, eat the candy out of the cup. So I thought that was an ingenious idea to stop waste at their candy store. Now, if you go on a road trip with Marty, he's going to take you some great places to eat. Crispy Pizza, which is actually in the same mall structure as iPlay America, was our first stop. We got some amazing pizza, some buffalo chicken, and some hot heavy pepperoni
It was delicious. Then Marty and I were off to Humdinger's, which is off the shore as well. This started as a batting cage and bowling alley. I've known these guys for quite a while, too. They've got some Brunswick bowling. They had Spark Bowling on 4 lanes. They added it to all of the lanes now. Here's Marty showing off his bowling skills. I love it. They also have a lot of arcade games. I want to say over 100 different arcade games, and they do a food right here as well. Nice kitchen, great restaurant. They even have some robo servers going around the floor, those AI robot servers making their way around. This I thought was very interesting. They have a redemption counter where you can redeem your tickets for prizes. But if you have under 500 tickets, they have prize hubs for you. So you go up to the prize hub, you get your prizes from there. Unless you have more than 500 tickets, then you go up to the counter itself. Our next stop was the Funplex. This is the North Funplex, not the one south by Philadelphia. And this was a fun stop. They have a unique laser tag. It's Lasertron laser tag, but they used to have a Magic Quest arena, and that's what this is. It's half the Magic Quest arena. They no longer have Magic Quest, but they turned it into laser tag, so they have this massive castle in the middle of their laser tag, which looked really cool. They also have a lot of rides and attractions. All the rides are indoors. They have a water park that's outside. You can see they got the mini bowling here. You can see the rides in the background. They've got amusement product go-karts, and they have their power-up feature on as well. And these carts light up. I love the new light package on the amusement products go-karts. Look really good. Then day 3, back to the pier. We're at Gateway. Oh, actually, you know what? I forgot to tell you guys about something. Before we get on to this, I want to show you guys a video of something at Humdinger's that I think you guys would really like. This is a storage unit that you can get on Uline, and this is to help with their redemption product. So let's check this out real quick. Marty, show us the shelving unit here from Uline. Look at this for redemption storage. They all move. Wow. Yeah, I thought that was really cool, so I wanted to show you guys that before we move on. So now, on to day 3, we're at Gateway 26, which is an arcade. This arcade might have the most redemption products for any place I've ever seen. 26,000 items they have on display at their facility, and it's not a huge facility. I mean, it is pretty big for a boardwalk park, but they just have a massive amount of redemption items, including a car. You could win a car. Now, the car is specifically for a Labor Day raffle, but they have a car on display at their park that you could win. So I thought that was really cool. They also have the very first Wizard of Oz machine that has ever gone into an arcade, the original Wizard of Oz machine, and they took a unique spin. They added their own play cards to the Wizard of Oz machine, highlighting their employees and the ownership group, so I thought that was really cool. Here's one of the cards on the play field there. And, of course, you can't go to the beach without having just a ton of claw merchandisers all over the place as well. Next up is Ed's Funcade, which was just up the boardwalk, and this was a fun little arcade. They have the employees walking around on the microphone, kind of carnival barking you in, come on in and win on the next raffle. Every half hour, they have a raffle where you could win prizes, or actually you can win a chance to win a spin the wheel, or they could do a thing where you go into a money grab. Here's the employees there showing off their redemption counter. Here's the prize wheel. If you every half hour, if you got that raffle ticket, you could spin that for tickets, or you could go into the prize grab. Let's check out Marty in the prize grab.
Oh, no, you are. Hold that prize. All right, cool.
So now, here we go. Looks like we got Marty in the Aloha Money Machine. Here we go. Ed Funcade doing it the best. #1 rated Wildwood Boardwalk. All right, here we go, Marty. We're going to send you off here in 3, 2, and 1. All right, here we go. Big dollar bills flying round and round. If you're going to be next to that Aloha Money Machine like Marty, how do you join us? We got blue chips inside, or Wizard of Oz. There we go, Marty. Looks like we got a
I love that. Well, it's right on the midway, so as you're walking by on the boardwalk, you can see that money grab machine. People flock in. They were watching. It's really exciting. And as you can see, it's harder than it looks. Like you have to hold on to the bag. You have to stuff the bag. You have to grab the stuff out of the air. So it's hard, but you don't get to keep the money. They transfer it over to tickets for you. Then you can go to the redemption counter and purchase some of the stuff there. Next stop was Sam's Pizza on the boardwalk. Marty is a food connoisseur, so he had all of our places mapped out of all the places slices we're going to eat. So we got 2 slices of pepperoni there and a Diet Coke. Then me and Marty were off to Mariners Arcade, which is right next to Maurice Pier. Very clean arcade with a lot of pushers. They even have the newest pushers on there, like Tornado and all that good stuff as well. The pushers all over the place. Redemption, really nice redemption counter. And I want to point out that when you're on the New Jersey Boardwalk or even Ocean City, Maryland, the seagull is like their new mascot. And so a bunch of seagull plush here. You got the patriotic plush. You got the princess, football, candy canes, all sorts of seagull plush there. So definitely fun to check that out. Then we stopped at Maui's Doghouse, which is a stop on the beach where you can buy hot dogs that they serve in dog bowls. So I got a chili dog and an Italian dog there. And then our last stop was at the Central Pier Arcade and Speedway. They suffered a fire this past year, and they're just getting ready, or they're just reopening now. The arcade itself is open, and they're hoping to get the go-kart tracks and stuff up and running by this weekend. And what a great arcade. They use Amusement Connect for their card system. And then they have right out on the pier there, they have the go-karts and the Midway games, which they're getting ready to open there. And there's a checkout of their redemption counter. Also, odd thing, I was walking down the boardwalk, ran into some friends from Florida who were celebrating their bachelor party in Atlantic City. So I got to run into some friends from Orlando as I was walking down the boardwalk. And then Marty, of course, had us go to dinner before we head home. So we went to the White House, home of the submarines, and had some great eats before heading back to Virginia. All right, guys, that's our road trip. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. My name is Clint Novak from ANA Global. We'll see you guys on the next adventure. Bye.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks, Clint, for that. And, a couple of things I want to just call out. I really liked the fact, well, I don't know if I like, I think I understand why they're doing it. And I'd be really interested to talk with them to understand a little bit more about the prize hub. So I can't remember the name of the facility, but they have the prize hub for under 500 tickets. So basically anything over 500, and you go and you get to the counter and you can choose what you want from there. Otherwise, if it's less than 500, you go and choose from the prize hub. When I think about it, I think about the process that a lot of guests go through. Typically, it's the younger kids or kids who just maybe have like 100 tickets, and they're really struggling to figure out what they want to spend their 100 tickets on, and it takes up a lot of time. And they want to see the Tootsie Rolls, they want to select those, and they want to do that, and they want to do this, and I think that when it's over 500, it's like very clear they're getting one or two things, and so they're just going to pick them, and they can just look at the wall, and it takes a lot less time. So my guess is it's probably both a way to enhance the guest experience by reducing some of that frustration, especially for the parents and the kids both, that they can just spend their time looking at the prize hub and then it's also an operational thing as well, because they're not taking as much staff time while the kids are really trying to decide how they're going to spend their 20 tickets or their 300 credits or whatever. So I thought that was interesting. And then I loved the MC getting people excited about the money machine. It's blowing the money all around, but they got the MC that's going there. Very similar, like what I mentioned that they do at Monster Mini Golf. They don't have the money machine, but they have the MC, they have the DJ, and they're hyping people up. And I think that just adds a lot of energy to the facility. And so if you have the ability to do that, if you have the right person, it might be something worth experimenting for to get people excited about those types of things. So, all right. Well, last up, we've got a quick promo pro tips with Chuck Tamonte, and then we'll roll out to some final notes here.
Hello and welcome to Promo Pro Tips with Chuck DeMonte. That is me. And today I want to talk about 4 tools that your FEC absolutely needs in its marketing playbook. Okay. And I'm going to start off with the first one, which is a content scheduling tool, right? So a content marketing tool that basically helps you post across multiple platforms. It'll help you collaborate with your team, right? You don't want to have to individually create content and then go to Facebook and post it, go to Instagram and post it, go to TikTok, right? You really want to make it so that you can make this as easy as possible, okay? Your GM, yourself, owner, whoever, operator, you have a lot going on. So how do you make these things easier, okay? And one of the ways you do that is by creating a tool that'll post across all these platforms at once. We internally use a tool called Plannable. It's really nice. It helps you post across all these platforms, but it also helps you collaborate with your team members, leave comments, approve things, schedule things, see an audit trail of who approved it, the changes and recommend changes and request changes. So works really well, and it's at a really good price. So I would suggest go checking that out. It's called Plannable. Okay, that's the number one. Okay, again, trying to make your life easy with content so it gets done. Okay, especially if you have a marketing or an internal marketing team or a marketing agency doing it. Number two is an email marketing software. Now, a lot of them are very similar, but hopefully, your online booking or your POS, or if they're all one, of the same, they have an email marketing platform that you could use, because you're getting your customers' data when they're buying tickets or signing waivers or doing whatever, right? And then you could use that to also email market to them, create automations when they have birthdays or specific actions that trigger email automations. They haven't been to your location in a while, or you want to try and upsell them with something, right? So there's ways and things you can use the data with email, but at the end of the day, you just need, at the bare minimum, just a general email software. It could be something like a MailChimp. Klaviyo is a popular one that we like. Okay, so we use them all across the board, all different ones. There's no specific one we use, but email is important. I cannot tell you enough how important it is to stay in front of your previous customers that have come in. You need to stay top of mind. You need to remind them. You want to increase that frequency that they come in, right? And emails is one of the best ways to do that, okay? To push out promos, new things that are going on in your location, whatever, right? So make sure you have an email marketing service. Make sure you are frequently email marketing 2 to 4 times per month, I would say. Next is Canva. So Canva makes it super easy to create designs, create posts. You want to make an announcement. You want to create something to print out and do in-store signage, right? It's super easy. It really checks a lot of boxes when it comes to design and your design needs. You should really have that. You don't need to be a designer. They have templates. Like there's, again, all these tools that I'm telling you are for best practice marketing, but also to make your life as easy as possible. Like you need these things. You need in-store signage. You need designs. You need social media posts, right? You need to be doing these things. You need email. So how can you make it as easy as possible, right? So those things will really help you do that. And then lastly, a reputation management software. So we use something a lot of times called Bird Eye. Also, we use something called Sochi. It's all basically getting soliciting reviews, okay? So somebody goes into your location, you have an automation that'll go out that'll continually ask them for reviews. And if they want to leave a bad review, the cool thing is it'll direct them to contact you directly, as opposed to putting on a Google or something like that, right? And some sort of review service. This will help you get more reviews. It'll help you increase your reviews. So it's really, really important. And people, especially on Google searches, a lot of times live and die by those Google reviews, right? What are you rated? Are you a 4.0 plus, right? What are your reviews? Are you replying to the reviews? So the service will also help you reply to these reviews, right? So super important. That also goes in your weighting of like being found in terms of search engine optimization. When people are searching for you on a Google map or just on a Google and you see those map results show up, Google's going to look at it. What are their reviews? Are they replying to their reviews, right? They take that into consideration when they're ranking you on those search results. Okay. So again, to recap, the top 4 things: find a content marketing platform or service that'll help you post and basically put out across multiple platforms. Okay. Make sure you have an email marketing service. Okay. Super important. Get on Canva. It'll help a lot of your design needs. And lastly, get a reputation management software. Okay. So hopefully that helps. And we'll give you some more of these tips coming up soon.
Intercard is the only cashless system designed, developed, and manufactured all under one roof. They introduced cashless technology to the amusement industry and have been leading the way for over 30 years. Cashless systems from Intercard increase customer spending, guest satisfaction, and boost revenues by up to 30%. Intercard is so proud to be serving the amusement industry, and if you aren't already part of their global family of customers, they hope you will become one soon. All right. Well, just a couple of quick things. As I mentioned earlier in the show, we've got Sound Off with Kevin Williams. It's number 82 coming out on Tuesday, July 15th. We dig into a number of interesting trends. So definitely highly recommend downloading that, watching that, however you do that over the podcast platforms, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever. And otherwise, that's a wrap for this week's LBX show. This is Brandon Wiley signing off. Stay tuned and keep kicking it.